Fantastic. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another Global Expansion Team Zoom. We have President Scott Aldred from ASEA joining us tonight to talk about the new e-commerce site that was just launched that is a way for our friends in China to order product and I think become associates. And so Scott's going to clarify all that for us so we understand how that is going to work. So Scott, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Great to be here.
Yeah, you're a busy guy. I know you're probably burning the candle at both ends, so I really appreciate you being here.
That's an understatement. So I appreciate you acknowledging that.
So talk to us about this e-commerce project and what it's allowing ASEA to do and how we can best utilize it. I know that if we go to our back office, we see 2 new tabs there that talk about e-commerce. So just kind of guide us through about what's happening with e-commerce. I know that China has had rules about network marketing in the past. I think presently they still have laws about no network marketing in China. And so how is this e-commerce site allowing ASEA to do business in China?
So maybe to give a little bit of history on what we've seen is we've seen a pretty good demand for the ASEA Redox product in China. And we've had some associates there sending product for personal use. What that does is it alerts the Chinese government that the product is coming into the market. And so we have created an option for people to do this in a legal manner. And so the product is actually registered through a third-party logistics company. So they are the company doing business in China. This is not ASEA doing business in China because, like you said, there are currently no MLM licenses available in China. And the only way to do that is to purchase a company that's already doing business in China. So what this does is allows people to order directly ASEA products from the third-party logistics. The third-party logistics is the importer of record, and our products are registered through that company. This does not mean we are opening business in China. It's just a way to legally purchase products, have the Chinese government collect the appropriate taxes, and there are limitations to what we can do. There's actually, I believe in US dollars, it's about a $3,600 per year allowance that lets people import these products directly and for personal use. So it's not for business building activity. It simply gives us a legal and lawful opportunity to provide product to people in China. The way to go through this is you log, like you said, there's a couple of new tabs in the Hong Kong section of the associates. And so associates that are already registered in Hong Kong have the opportunity to set up the proper registration for e-commerce and then to order products that are delivered directly to the home address or business address to people in China with a 3 to 5 day delivery. And the delivery charge is included. The taxes are included in the pricing. And right now there's just an option for a 1 bottle. Well, there will be a 1 bottle case or 1 bottle order, which kind of fits a demand type consumption on a weekly basis for those that need something a little bit more affordable, but that'll be in the next couple of weeks. Currently, there's a 2 bottle option and a 4 bottle option. And then there's renew option for the tubes and then also the sample tubes. Those are the only products that are currently registered in this model.
So the 2 products that are available in this model are the ASEA Liquid and the Renew 28, is that right?
That's correct, yes.
Okay. And so is there an option for somebody to become an associate in the Chinese market, or is that not an option?
The way that this is accomplished is through our Hong Kong entity. So if they list themselves as a customer, there is an opportunity through China or through Hong Kong to become more than just a consumer, but they have to register with a Hong Kong ID, meaning that they have to have a business entity set up in Hong Kong. And there are limitations, so there's no loyalty reward points. So thus there's no subscription. There's no enrollment orders because there's no enrollment fee. So there are limitations because according to Chinese law, you can't legally operate an MLM company through this model. And so we're very careful with how we approach this. It's simply a consumer model. And if this works, which we have seen it work with other companies, it will allow us to use this model for other countries to have this type of consumption model for the product.
So if somebody signs on as an associate through a Hong Kong account, can they then sponsor somebody else, or is it really a kind of an affiliate marketing?
It's an affiliate, more of a referral, so somebody can be referred as a customer, and that's just the way we'll keep this model. The reason being, and this is where it's going to become so difficult, is if people are bringing product in through other means, the Chinese government is now allowed that there's now registered, there's only one importer of record. So for those that are currently doing business and importing the product as an unregistered product, meaning they may be saying that it's something else, that this will no longer be allowed by the Chinese government. And it's a way for us to be legal in the country with a limited offering. And that's what we're, part of our vision is to achieve global distribution of these life-changing products. And this allows us to do that. One thing with ASEA that everybody knows has been involved with this company for a very long time is we play by the rules. We play by the book. And it might not always seem that way with some things that are happening, but we really do take great measures to make sure we're operating in an honest and ethical manner. And that's key to growing the company, is to make sure that we do that all the time. So that there are some limitations built in. These are requirements by the Chinese government. And so this is not ASEA operating as we all know it in China. It's a limited offering of a consumer model.
And the company that we are working through, or I don't know how you say that, but the company that is registered and we're registering our product through them, isn't it called, is it ObiWan or something like that? How do you pronounce it?
We refer to it as Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
ObiWan, I think, is the pronunciation of the company. That's the third-party logistics. So if you're redirected from our site, our virtual office, it will connect you with their site where you'll have to register as a customer. And these are for people in China. And then they're able to do that and order product directly. There is multiple payment options that we do not offer in other countries because these are the payment options of the third-party logistics. And so they have payment options that fit the Chinese market. And so they're more robust than what we would offer out of Hong Kong.
So is it like their version of Amazon? Is it kind of like that?
Yeah, and we call that e-commerce or cross-border, which allows companies like ourselves to distribute products to the consumer. One thing that makes ASEA very strong is we are consumer-driven, means that if people use the product, they have great results. And we're not really that type of company that is just built on a business model. We're primarily consumers that have had great product experiences. And this allows us to do that. And we do have product on the ground in China. There are free trade zones, but they are legally imported by the third-party logistics company.
Hey, Scott, quick question here. This sounds super exciting as far as expanding business legally in this region that doesn't really allow network marketing. But you did refer to, over time that this could be possible in other markets that aren't open right now. And I just want people to get on the line to be able to set their expectations correctly to understand what that timeline might be, because we have to do things right somewhere first before we go somewhere else, and totally understand that. So what do you think the timeline is to be able to go to
We're talking
country?
At least 12 months, Bo. I appreciate that question. Give this time to seed and to make sure if there's any kinks that we can work those out. One of the things, we love the fact that people are excited and they try to get this product to different markets around the world, which is still okay for just personal consumption. If you're sending the product to a country and it's personal consumption, that's fine. What we want to curtail is business building activities in countries that we have no intention of opening, just because of the legal ramifications. And also we have limited resource as a company. This year has been very, very difficult. We all know the inflationary pressures that we face just when we fill up with gasoline or we go to the grocery store or you go to buy any kind of consumer good. Those same inflationary measures are putting extreme pressure on the company. And we've done everything we could this past year to hold prices steady. And what that means is we're limiting our resource, because we are in fact paying more for all of the items that we use to make these products and distribute these products. And so one of the things is we have to curtail some of our spending. And so that means with market expansion, we need to hold off. And that's just the prudent thing to do as a business, is to operate within our means. It's the same thing we all do with our household budgets. We try, hopefully, we try not to spend more than we bring in. And that's the way ASEA has operated. We're a self-funded company. We're very financially stable. And when we need to cut back and pull back, that's what we do. And so we just don't have the resource to expand internationally. And so this is a good model for us to keep things moving forward.
Scott, real quick, can you just share, I mean, people may say, well, limited resources, to share with people what kind of costs there are involved. What's their real dollars associated with opening markets? What do those real dollars equal?
Yeah, a lot of it is legal fees up front, and where you're working with your legal type representatives in a country. And then there are costs of registration. So not to be too bold and name countries, but a country that we recently opened, let's say within the last 5 years, it was $1 million US for the MLM license. Right now, as far as the last we had heard, it was a $10 million fee in China just for the MLM license, but there's a ton of restrictions around that if there was one available. And then, of course, you have the cost of just the legal fees, the setup fees. Some countries require total distribution within the country, and then other countries actually require at least part of the manufacturing of the product to take place in country. And so there's a tremendous resource when we talk about some of those countries like that. And we have a very strategic approach. Just so everyone knows, the reason we opened some of the Asian markets was to scale the business. We needed to scale the growth of the business to have the funds to push forward. And we're just not in that position right now, just from a resource standpoint. And what that means is the economy is struggling. And one of the things that hurts us as an international business is actually when the dollar, our currency in the US, is very strong compared to other currencies right now. So what that means is that a case of ASEA that costs $130 US, I'll give you an example, that's equal to, because of currency exchange, 100 USD in Hungary would be an example. And so when we repatriate those funds, we lose 30%. And that's foreign currency exchange. So there's pressures like that on the business, that as the dollar strengthens, it hurts our profitability overseas. So for those in the US, if you want, I just got back from Europe. Our dollar is very strong. It's about 1-to-1 with the euro, which I've never seen in my lifetime in traveling over there. So it's great if you go over and buy some goods, but with inflationary pressures, it's kind of like a wash. But there's a lot of external factors with this business. And one thing that's great about it is, for those in the field that are distributing the product, you have a great team at the corporate office and in several offices around the world. That's what we take care of. So you don't need to worry about those. Just worry about spreading spreading the word about our products and, sharing your experiences. And that's really the beauty of this business is when things gets really tough, go ahead and keep doing what you're doing and we'll take care of things here at the corporate office.
Yeah, we totally appreciate everything you guys do. I mean, there's so much that goes on behind the scenes that we have no idea that you guys have to deal with. And it's why it's a really great partnership, because I don't think the average person has the know-how to negotiate all that complicated stuff. So we really appreciate you guys taking care of it.
And it's a great partnership because those of you in the field, you do things that are not our strengths. You're out there, you represent us, you're our ambassadors, our representatives that tell the story. And it allows great synergy and teamwork and unity. And boy, I can't tell you how much we appreciate that. It's a great team and the best is yet to come. So the Chinese cross-border or e-commerce cross-border is really an entrance into this segment to help our business grow and mature and generate revenue and also provide these products. But it's a very legal and ethical way to do business. I will offer this warning that if you try to do it another way, you're gonna be very sorry, just because the product's going to be stuck in customs and it's not going to be allowed in, even for personal use. There's going to be one source to get it in through China, and that's through the registered importer. And so all the ports in China and the borders they'll all be operating in this manner. So please don't try to do it another way. I'm just saying that just so you don't lose your product.
Yeah, quick, Scott, you were saying you referred to, what was it? I'm losing it right now, but
I don't know.
But while you're thinking,
go ahead. Let me bring it back.
while you're thinking about that, it'll come back to you. But so when we see the link, and this thing keeps going away, but when we see the link, it says cross-border e-commerce registration. So are we supposed to send that registration link to our friend in China? And the other one says cross-border e-commerce order. So
yeah, so you gotta connect first and get the first time order will give you your registration, and then after that you click the other link and it'll take you right to the ordering platform. So you only have to register once.
So they register with that link because they're not going through it's not like you go to our virtual office and where it says buy or join, all of a sudden China's there. That's not the way it is. So in our back office, in the home section, there's a link that says cross-border e-commerce registration and cross-border e-commerce order. And so we are meant to send the registration link to our friend and have them fill that out before they can either become an associate or order.
Before they can order. And what that'll do is that will place the volume in your organization. So if you send that and they register through the link that you sent, right, they'll need to put in that, and that'll actually have the volume. And that's what the incentive is for you to refer people, is that product volume will be in your organization.
But it's really a consumer model.
It is a consumer model, yes. And that's what we need to keep in mind, because there are limitations. We've had people say, well, there's no fast start bonus. Well, there's no enrollment. There's no LRP. Well, there's no subscription. It has to be on-demand orders. And that's the limitation of the model. But we've set it up so we're 100% compliant with all regulations in China. And it's an opportunity. It's a privilege for us to do that. This has been a long time in development, and we've literally spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on this to allow people to order our product in China.
Okay, so just to make this really super clear, this is a consumer model, not a business building model. This is a legal way of getting ASEA product, the ASEA Liquid and the Renew 28 into the Chinese market for personal use only. So you could create a consumer base in the Chinese market by going through the proper registration links that are in the back office.
Yeah, and you do get credit for the volume. So that's we have to be really, really careful about doing business in China, but there has to be an incentive to use this model. And so it is really the best of what we can offer right now. There is no immediate short-term plan to do business in China with a full-scale business offering. We just have limitations. The other thing is that it wouldn't be prudent for us to push into expansion with the current geopolitical situation around the globe. There's a lot of uncertainty. And I think for those of us that are in countries that are doing well around the world, we should take a moment and really be grateful, because there's a lot of people that are suffering. And for us, we kind of are oblivious, or at least shielded from some of these activities. And having done extensive travel internationally this year, please be grateful for what we have, and for these countries that have certain freedoms, and that where we can do a business like this and we can share our products. And it's really important, because there are certainly a lot of people that are suffering tremendously.
Scott, I was able to recollect what I was talking about before. You had mentioned about personal use, and there was a 2 or 3 page document that went out to some of us about, you know, how strict the rules were with China, but it also seemed like worldwide. And just if you can assure people about personal use in other countries and how, you know, that's fine. We can still have people that are not in approved markets procuring product and shipping it to them for their own personal use.
Yeah, if it's personal use and you're getting there, I realize how expensive it is for some of these outlying markets. But really, there's just no business building activities. So if you're bringing it in for personal use, that's fine. Come to the US, fill up your suitcase, and go back to your country. However people are doing it, that's fine. You just can't really promote the business, because what we've had historically is sometimes these markets get out in front of us, and then there's a demand, and all we're doing is we're setting people up for disappointment. And we just don't want to do that. One of the keys in business is to actually keep your promise. And it should be our key in our life, is if we say we're going to do something, we need to do it. And sometimes we've not sent clear signals on that. So if you are currently getting the product and you're declaring it for personal use, you should be fine. Each country has limitations of all products that you can bring in for personal use. And as long as you're doing that, then you should be in good shape. The Chinese market does have, I believe it's about a $700 US equivalent of a single order. And remember, this is by household. It's not by person. It's by household address. And then about a 3,600 USD per year on what you can use. So it's really kind of a limited consumption model. And it's very difficult to work around that. But as far as unopened markets that people are bringing in product right now, continue to do that. Do your best you can for just consumption, personal consumption, and you'll be in good shape.
And Scott, I know that we've kind of held a line on the 33 countries that we're currently open in, which is a lot of geography to do business in, an awful lot. Those countries are basically untapped, just huge potential in all of those countries. Is there is there still a stop on expanding into any additional countries at this point?
There's actually one country under development right now, and I'll keep that one to myself. But there's one country that we're in the final stages of development, and that's all I'll say.
Okay. Fantastic. Yeah. So one of the things in the FAQs is talking about how to ensure that the product is actually being shipped to the person that's ordering the product and being paid for by the person that's ordering the product. All of those things are checked in the registration, so that the person that's ordering the product has to have an address in China, right? And it has to have, what else is required to make sure that the product is actually being ordered by the person that's consuming it and paid for by the person that's consuming it?
There's just some limited information that you have to put in when you register. And that, like I said, it's limited by the household, and those are Chinese regulations. So that's kind of the stopgap there is it has to go to a certain address, and there is a limitation. And the person that's paying for the product, because there's several payment methods, that needs to be the person that's ordering the product.
And will it be shipped from this third party, or will it be shipped actually from ASEA?
The third party has the possession of the product, and they have a single location right now, but they have the ability to expand throughout China as they see where the demand is. And then they have a distribution model that should hit all major points in 3 to 5 days. So it's a well-established distribution model. And as new locations need to open up, they'll shift inventory. So the first 2 shipping containers came from our Hong Kong warehouse. And then after that, all the product will come directly from the US to the third-party logistics provider in China.
Wow. So yeah, they're really managing all of that. So
and
yeah.
we get daily updates on the orders, who ordered, where they're at, and we get that updated every day.
And I would assume that, like you said at the beginning of the call, there was a fair, obviously there's demand for the product in China, and this is a way to meet that demand in a legal way.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting because we saw online dumping in China. So obviously product was getting there, and you know, it's a problem when we're operating outside the lines of what's ethical. And remember, ASEA does not allow people to sell online below retail price. And when we start seeing that, we're saying, hey, there's some problems here. So we had to set up a model to control that. The one thing we need is we need the associate base to help us police unethical activities. And there's so many different ways to do this. And we spend a tremendous amount of resource and headcount geared towards that. Remember, when we're doing that, then that's resource that can't be spent in product development or market expansion or incentives and programs and different things. And what we really need is when that's happening in your organization, that you flag it and you send it to us, and we'll help you shut it down. But if it's happening and people are perpetuating it, that really does not fit with our ethos as a company. We're really trying to do everything 100% in compliance with all laws and regulations in the markets that we operate in. So please remember that and help us police that. That would be great.
All right, fantastic. Well, it's exciting. I know that the people that are devoted to ASEA don't want to rock the boat in any illegal way that would put the company in jeopardy. And, so it's great that you've set up a way to, supply the product to China, even, within their limitations, so that they're approving the product to come into the country, which is a huge step, right?
Yeah, it's a great model for us. I hope everybody gets behind that. There's a really in-depth FAQ that's gone out. And if you have questions, make sure you contact us and we'll clear those up. But we've been pleased. There have been orders, so that's good. And the orders are beginning to flow. And I think that's excellent. So for people that have had friends or family in the Chinese market or acquaintances there, and they want to introduce them to the product, there's a way for them to get the product very easily now. Okay.
Well, fantastic. Well, we're at the bottom of the half hour, and I know that you have other things besides ASEA to do in your life. I think you have to eat occasionally and sleep occasionally. So we really appreciate you spending the time here. Is there any final words that you'd like to leave us with, besides being extremely grateful for living in a country where we can practice free speech and free business, right?
Yeah, I think more than anything, I just would like to express appreciation for all of our associates that are on this call, and even globally. It's been an amazing experience to meet with literally thousands of people this year as we've attended Envision events, and we just got back from the Legacy experience. Just amazing. I mean, I'm pushing almost 200,000 sky miles so far this year, and we got one more trip internationally out to Australia in October. But to make that connection, we've really missed it, and we missed meeting with our associates and feeling of their power and their passion for our product and for our business. Just really just so much gratitude for how many people are out there with positive experiences and carrying the vision for us. The company is at a real inflection point right now. It's time to move forward. We've kind of come out of COVID and everybody forgot how to treat one another. And so we're appreciating getting back out there and rekindling old relationships and also building new ones. What a wonderful time. And for me on a personal basis, what an amazing experience to meet with people all around the world. And really just to offer you this one observation, we are actually much more alike than we are different as I travel from country to country. Everybody wants what's best for their family. They want to have great relationships, and they want to have a measure of success in their life. And some of that is financial. So really just a great opportunity. I appreciate the great work that so many people are doing, and let's just make the best of everything that we have. Take care of one another, say a kind word to people that need it, and I think we all can grow from this experience.
All right. Good words of wisdom, Scott. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Yeah, really, really appreciate you and all that you do.
All right. Thank you so much for having me on the call. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks so
Thanks,
much,
Scott.
Scott.
Take care.
Appreciate it.
Have a great night.